Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with another video. Alright. So, figured I'd get my little walk in on this side of town on the way back instead of catching the train. I mean the bus rather, because I want to exercise. I do. I've been telling myself I need to walk more, so better than to be about it than just talk about it. Plus, I don't know that I'm gonna do my squats when I get home because it's the dunk contest tonight, and I'll probably end up wanting to watch that on a little screen, because I don't think I have cable in that room, so it gets a little complicated when you try to do that while exercising. And the time is going to overlap because I think it's like 3:30 right now. So yeah, that's what it is, man. So I was telling y'all in the last video, I'm kind of tired, man. It ain't even tired like sleepy tired. No, I'm just worn down, man. You get to a point where sometimes in life, like I was saying, you just need your second wind. You ask for that. You ask the Lord and demand it of yourself that you find the energy and the strength to keep going. You know what I mean? Just to keep going, man. And so that's where I'm at right now. It's not that anything specific is going on. You just get worn out. You get tired of the grind. You get tired of the wait or whatever your circumstance is. For me, it's in and out of this hotel, not necessarily having what I need financially to take care of myself properly, having to ask for family to help me every week, and they've been so good and so willing, so it's not like they've put any extra stress on it, but they just get tired, man. You want your freedom to move around. If I want to catch a flight somewhere or something, you want the freedom to do that in this life. You know what I mean? And that's what I've depraved myself of by not working. And then the idea of working is also exhausting because I've done it. I've done as much of that as I really want to give my life to it. And well, wanting is not necessarily the end all be all, and comfort should certainly not be what motivates you to do what needs to be done. For whatever reason, that's how my head is wired. So him being tired of wanting to work, tired of working, you don't go back and get the benefits of it, and you end up taking the worst of it, which is poverty. You know, you can take the worst of it. So that's kind of what it is for me. I mean, I work on here. Obviously, I do my channel, do my art and everything, but none of that quite pays the bills. So you just find yourself exhausted with your own self, exhausted with the circumstances that come with being you, and what you don't necessarily have because of the way that you are, you know, I guess. So that's what it is, man. Just get a little tired, but and then you look around, you see the world, and it's like the world is not really wired to cater to a mind like mine at all. You know, I read something that said men need to get as much money as they can because the world is cruel to a poor man, and that is absolutely true. It doesn't mean that you want to give your life to money necessarily if that's not how you wired, but you certainly don't want to be without it. Even if you don't want to do what it takes to get it, it's probably in your best interest, as all know, to have it. And so it's just, you know, at some point in time you just say, I don't care for that. You know what I mean? I don't care for that. I like living my life the way I want to live it. And even though I'm told by 99.9% of the world that money is all I need, I don't care for money like that. I care to have it if I don't have to work too hard to get it, but sorry, brother. And see, stuff like that is like somebody asks you for change. Like, nah, you can't help them. So you need to have it in order to give it to somebody, and that's part of the problem. So you just get tired of living this way. You get tired of thinking that you don't have what you need because you don't care for doing what it takes to get money, wasting away. And for those who get it very easily, you got to understand that's exactly what it is for the rest of us. You waste away so that you don't have to feel like I'm feeling right now. Working whatever job you can, if you weren't given a silver spoon, or if you don't have some type of super talent for which most of the world does not have, you're just going to work for somebody who sits and eats off of your work. And that whole process, when you start to realize a lot of the world is built like that. It's structured so that those who have it can keep having it, and those who work have to keep working. And I found myself saying in my dream last night, I'd rather die than make you rich, Zionist prick. It's exactly what came to mind when I consider what these people are doing with the money, sending it over, the tax money that we spend, and they enrich themselves in every nook and cranny so that our government has to allow them to do the things that they do, regardless if it has any moral positivity to it or not. We got to do it because they're enriched in our intelligence, they're enriched in our entertainment, they're enriched in our health systems and everything that ultimately makes this country go, and UK go, and other countries as well, is centered around individuals who rigged the game and their families who rigged this capitalistic game years ago. And you will capitulate to them. You will, you know what I mean? It's that kind of reality for the people who are alive today. You will. And it's like, no, I won't. That's really where I'm at. My defiance in me tells it. I don't care how much you control or how much you want me to continue to work in a way that makes you rich. I have no interest in doing any of that. And because I put value of my interest and my comfort over that of what it is you tell me I need, and trust a God that's above me, that can tell me where to go and which way to lay and how to best get what I want and all of that. I don't find myself capitulating to the worldly ways that are out here, that are put in place to make us feel like we can't do nothing but chase what it is they tell us to chase and shut up about what it is they don't want to talk about. No interest. What I do have interest in is living out my days speaking against that crap in hopes that people who are going to be in position to take over those situations and take over those seats from which they're in will have a different point of view than what anybody else is giving them. And that's why I speak the way I do. Let's try to convince a few people who are going to be taking over that you don't have to do what it is that your forefathers did or what these current guys are doing. That you can love people that don't have a lot, or you can give if you have a lot, or you can set the game up so that people get fairness across the board or whatever it is you're trying to measure. You can do that without looking at yourself in the mirror and saying I'm lesser for it just because your forefathers weren't strong enough to do so. You can. You don't have to go into your genocide bag, so to speak. You don't have to do that. You can take tax money and enrich impoverished neighborhoods and see benefit from it, because if you educate certain people, maybe you get a little bit of good, but if you educate everybody, there's plenty of greatness that can come out of that. It's a lot of people who are not given the best try or a chance at life because of the smallness of those who were in control of it. It wasn't because that was the only way it would work. It was because that was the only way they would allow it to work. They didn't want to see a world where they could lose their power. If they educate the wrong people, they would find greater minds. Greater minds would be able to do greater things than they were able to, and they weren't going to allow it. That is the only reason why they didn't allow certain people to have education. They didn't allow certain neighborhoods to thrive. They didn't allow certain people to realize their own greatness, and it was only because they were afraid of losing what it is that they had if those people were to ever learn who they were. And I want to teach the generation underneath me who are going to be taking over those seats that you would have a lot more friends than they would ever allow themselves to have if you do things differently without so much insecurity attached to your power. So much insecurity attached to what it is that you do, keeping people who you may think could potentially be greater than you from getting what it is they're supposed to have. That's small. It's a very small energy. And this is exactly what we've been held back by. It's the insecurity and the jealousy of those who just didn't want to see us reach our highest potential in fear of losing what it is that they had. And so that's why I tell you, teach your kids to look after those who are smaller than them. Be a big brother to somebody. Don't have selective humanity like our politicians have practiced for 500 plus years. And selective humanity keeps you from reaching the highest potential of your country, of your society, of your group. If only a few people know what to do and everybody else is depraved of the truth. You get ultimately what this trickles down to, which is only but so much. We think we have it all in certain cases because a few people have it, and those few people are within that perspective. But for those who don't, we know how much potential is out here, how much potential is suppressed by the nature of that small energy. We know. And there ain't a whole lot we can do about it other than to say, let's teach some people who know better to do better. Let's teach those who are going to be in position to control the world tomorrow bigger, more secure, less jealousy and envy and fear-based ways of running the world, of controlling their specific perspectives or specific sectors or whatever would be the best way to say it. You can teach everybody. You can feed everybody. You only have to feed people that look like you. You don't have to just care about people underneath your flag. That is primitive thinking that was enriched in a small-natured hatred that didn't have seeing everybody thrive involved in it. They just wanted only a few. They wanted people who looked like them to thrive because they was small in nature. They didn't know how to live in a world where everybody had parity, live in a world where everybody knew everything they needed to know to thrive. They didn't know how to. They weren't taught how to. And as a result, they kept teaching their kids the best they knew how. Selective humanity. Politic energy. Let's pretend. Let's try to show forth something that we're not going to actually do. I'm looking at the politicians this morning engaging in their selective humanity. VP put up something on her IG, said something along the lines of, we must continue to stand with Ukraine because I don't even know what the because was, to be honest with you. And you see in the comment section, everybody saying, well, what about the people you're not paying attention to? What about the people you're not giving a damn about? And they don't have any retorts for that because they just continue to posture in the direction of what it is that they're trying to convince all of us must be done. But there's no parity in what they must do. Every time they try to pander to us, it's about our American self. They cater to our selfishness. They cater to the patriotism that has long been in place that's supposed to make Americans only care about Americans. And it's under our flag, so we care about us. We wave our flag, we're patriots, and it's about we have the best workers. And it's like, what is this we? Why did we find ourselves in a space where we huddle up against underneath our flag and then say everybody else who's outside of it doesn't matter? Then when people try to come over here and become a part of what it is that we do, we make it so difficult for them to do so. Like, what is that? What is that energy, and why do I need to capitulate to that? And now you've shaken hands with a certain nation, so now they're supposed to be my friends, and we must care about their kids but give a damn about the Palestinians? How does that work? So those people's kids matter because they're in agreement with me, but I'm not in agreement with any of that. So how is that in agreement with me? You understand what I'm saying? We must. What is this must? Must. What is must? But something I need to clean under my arms. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it really comes down to. I don't allow these politicians to tell me who to care about, who not to. I care about everybody's kids. Anybody that has a child, that child needs to be raised by a village. It's the reality of it. That's not just what I think. That's what it is. You get to say those people are terrorists because what? Because they didn't sign a treaty with you? So that's what it's capitulating on, to the people that it boils down to who I voted in and their ability to convince them to sign something so that they can be friends with me. And then that determines whether or not their kids deserve to live or die, or whether or not they have a right to go kill their enemy's children or not. Like, how does that work? How does that work? It does not work. That's the point. Selective humanity does not work. It weaponizes itself against those who engage in it too, because now the whole world is looking at you like you're the bad guy. Like you only care about what happens underneath your umbrella. And it's not like that's an easy umbrella to get under. When it takes 20 years for somebody to get their green card or whatever the hell. I don't like any of that. And then my name is attached to it. Now people are walking around saying Americans are terrorists, Americans are... I'm not any of that. I hate that stuff. I want that stuff out of our lives. I want that out of the lives of everybody in this world. Because I don't think it makes us any better whether we know better or not. I think that very energy makes people hate us. I think that very energy makes people want to take us off the earth. Makes them want to kill our children. How the hell do I want that? And I look around and I say, these governments don't represent the people in any of these places they are in. They don't. With respect to the governments that do align with the people, because I'm sure there's some around the world at this point, but the ones that are in our country, in the UK, in various different parts of the Arab nations, these governments don't represent anything but the agreement to agree with amongst other governments. That's it. Their little cabal is what matters to them. The people are just things that they use, and they sweep us one way or sweep us another way or sweep us this way, keep our minds wrapped up in what they tell us is culture, keep our minds wrapped up in what they tell us is normal, keep us connected under the agreement that their laws should be followed, for which a lot of them should. But some of those laws are meant to keep us off of them, keep us from questioning them, keep us from uprising against what it is that they do that is immorally correct, like selective humanity. And the kids got to suffer for that. And we see that in Gaza right now. Now the kids got to suffer for the selective humanity that we've allowed to continue to control the world that we're in for as long as it's been spinning. I'm sorry. But at some point in time, some generation of people got to say, yo, I don't care for that. I'm not standing for that. I'm not afraid of what happens for not standing for that. And you will change because there's more of us than it is of you. There's more of us than it is of you. Connected cabal, or whatever the hell you call yourself, skull and bones, Illuminati, whatever the hell you want to call yourself. There's more of us than there is of you. And that's why you continue to gaslight us into thinking whatever we want to think, because you don't want us to know how much power and sway we truly have over you. If we all just strike, that affects what it is that you're trying to do. If we all just engulf you and pull you up out of the places you're in, against those laws that you sent to protect yourself, hold you accountable by way of those same laws, like you should be held accountable, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, whoa. Suddenly your power ain't power no more. But see, you got a lot of us under the guise and minds of laws, culture. You know what I mean? Those two things, laws and culture. It is just, you're going to be outcasted for thinking that way. You are a terrorist if you think that way. No, I'm not. They're the terrorists. Selective humanity pushes are the terrorists of this world, and we know it. And they run a lot of what's going on in this world because we haven't uprised against them, against what it is that they otherwise tell us not to. You were trained not to uprise. You were trained not to take a look at them and hold them by the same standards that they otherwise hold everyone else to, for which they don't hold themselves. And you will do what they say, and you like that type of stuff, because you're afraid of losing what it is they can take from you, or you're afraid of what they can do to you taking your freedom away and all of this. But it's like, but that's the only reason why they have any ability to do so. It's because you allow it. But we don't want martial law. We don't want them to press buttons. Man, listen. If the only way we're going to have freedom is for all this thing to fall apart, if that's the only way to get these people out of these positions that ultimately they're in so they can choose to kill them and then call them over there our friends, if that's what needs to fall apart in order for that structure to end, then it's not together in the first place. It's just a matter of which generation is going to wake up and realize that that's not good for their world. Since we're so wrapped up in culture and laws to do anything about it ourselves. It's going to be our grandkids or our kids or our great-grandkids are going to wake up one day and say, no, we're not going for this. We're not afraid to do what we need to do. We're not afraid to step up and put our lives on the line for the betterment of the world we're in. We're not afraid of what you can do from behind your little monitors or whatever it is you control. And if you got that type of power, use it, because that's what it's going to take to keep us off your ass. It's going to be some generation that does that. You're going to use all your nukes to blow up all the people. That's what you're going to have to do, because we're not going to continue to live the way that you've been telling us to live as if we don't know any better when we're seeing what it trickles down to, which is you allowing Israel to kill a bunch of kids. We're going to find out what you own. We're going to find out what it is that you are on, as in what it is you believe in. We're going to find out what feeds you, and we're going to boycott it. We're going to stop working at those places. We're going to strike at those places where you make your life comfortable. We're going to be in those places screaming our heads off, throwing blood all over you to remind you what's on your hands. That's what's going to happen. It's just going to get more and more of that going on. As long as they continue to allow this to happen, it's going to be more of that. People ain't going to just sit back and chill. They're going to spread the word, and more people become more passionate about it because people are waking up every day. Selective humanity is whack for the people overall. And those who engage in it are going to find out that the world becomes much more dangerous for you when you engage in that. That's why you shouldn't want to do that. That's why you shouldn't be cool with your father or your mother engaging in that. Because it's going to make it a lot harder for your grandkids. When people start trying to identify who did what and they start looking at you. Talking about anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is me putting on a Jewish hat and then proceeding to do the worst things in the world. Making everybody hate me. Then people, by default, they're in fact turned to me and said, I hate Jews. And then from there, they want to kill Jews. That's anti-Jews. By very definition. While they sitting up here telling me, someone who wants the Jews to be represented in a positive light, who wants to see their kids protected from the repercussions of what genocide ultimately looks like when someone is blamed for it, I'm anti-Jew? No, I'm pro-Jew. Because I'm going to save more Jewish lives by turning these individuals who want to wear the Jew hat and engage in killing children while we all looking at it, away from their ways, so that people ain't looking at all the Jews and saying, yo, these people deserve to be whatever comes with that. And if we're all thinking clearly, that should be exactly how we look at all selective humanity. It's something that weaponizes itself against the safety that we engage in. If people think I'm a racist, guess what they're going to do with racists? They're going to label the racist and they're going to hate it. They're going to celebrate whatever comes with that. It's like, I don't know why anybody wouldn't see that angle other than the fact that they're cloaked behind the evil of it and the agreement that we are strong together underneath our racist hat, for which, to be honest with you, doesn't make you very strong at all. Because at the end of the day, you have no friends. You can't trust that nobody won't open the back door on you because they know they can't trust you. You ain't gonna have no friends in this world but the people who look like you. And the people who look like you are stemmed by the hatred that you engage in. So if any of y'all decide to have any type of humanity against that, then you're going to be looked at as the wrong type of guy. And then you got enemies in your own circle. So where does the friendship come from? There's no compassion within it. It's stemmed by a lack of compassion in and of itself. Like the notion that people can actually find strength in the hatred of others or in the selective humanity practices of their forefathers in a world where information moves around by the second, it's really flawed thinking, if you ask me. It's flawed. Especially when you see how people treat racists in America these days. As soon as we find out you're a racist, we want to dox you. We want to put forth all of the cameras on you and go to where you at, shame you for that racism. It's like, why would you even want to be a racist? Even if you don't necessarily love everybody, you probably don't want to be labeled that. And selective humanity pushes are, in fact, a new form of racism. It ain't really new, it's just a new way of putting it. It's like, no, they're not going around burning flags on, burning crosses on people's lawns, but they're certainly saying, we are going to gaslight anybody who otherwise wants to put an end to what it is that we're allowing to be done in the name of killing people and destroying people who happen to be of a certain race, religion, creed, or sector. It's like, nah, you're just burning them. You're not even burning the crosses. Testing weapons out on people and stuff like that. Saying it's field testing. Yeah, you're testing on the field, all right. You're testing on any innocent individual you can point at who's from that area, who prays like that, who thinks like that, or whatever the case. And I'm supposed to sit underneath that, send y'all my hard-earned tax dollars so you can continue to fund people who celebrate this? Why? Because they're enriched in everything you control and you don't know how to get them out of there? Nah. No, I don't care for that. Burn it all down. Burn it all down. If this is what we got to continue to engage in, is allowing these people to kill babies and laugh about it in order for our country to stay upright, country don't deserve to stay upright. Burn it down. You call me a terrorist for saying that, but look at what it is I'm telling you the reasoning is. What has to happen in order for our country to maintain. Think about what I'm telling you here. I'm not telling you I wanted to burn down because they didn't give me my dollars. I didn't tell you I wanted to burn down because they did something to my people. I'm telling you it needs to burn down because kids are dying. Kids are suffering the ills. Children, little ones amongst us, our future, is suffering the ills of this standing upright. And the people who are in position to do something about it are unwilling because they want to maintain their own safety. No, man, burn it all down. If those kids can't be safe, then nobody's kids should be safe. What are the kids any better than ours? I mean, let's be honest. If we're not protecting all kids, then nobody's kids are really safe so long as people like this are running the world. They're only safe if they capitulate to what it is that they ultimately do. This is not a structure that allows them to thrive at all. This is a structure that's going to control them and continue to tumble this forward, making our kids just as evil as them. No, burn that down. End that. And I guess I'm a terrorist for saying that, right? I need to be thrown into the worst prison in the world because I'm turning on my own country. That's selective humanity flag, right? We love us, we hate them. That flag? Yeah, burn that shit down. That don't need to be up no more. If kids are going to suffer so that what we have can stay in structure, then the structure isn't very sound to begin with. You don't have a structure. What you have is what you otherwise must allow to happen in order for what you need to happen for you to survive to stand upright. You don't want that to continue. You don't want that to continue because it's going to continue to be more and more of the same. Today it's the Palestinians, tomorrow somebody else, day after that it's you. In order for the situation to stay upright, they must now kill all your kids. They gotta allow Israel to murder your kids now, right? At what point does it stop? When everybody's under the Israeli flag, right? When the Israeli flag is the world flag, that's when it stops. That's essentially what this is. It's world takeover. It's world domination. Just like we've seen in every single bit of the things that we ultimately grew up watching as a kid. All the villains, these are the villains. Their world domination, this is what they own. This is exactly who these people are. So you're going to let them continue? You're going to let Shredder continue to control the world of Ninja Turtles? You're going to let Darth Vader continue to control the world of Star Wars? Of course not. You're going to dethrone these idiots. You're going to pull them out of everywhere they're at And you're going to put them where you put the bad guys that you put. Wherever you put them, that's where you need to put these guys. And anybody that continues to keep up what they're doing needs to be in those spaces. Normalize calling bad guys bad guys. But a lot of y'all ain't willing to do that because you're rich. You're thriving while the bad guys are controlling stuff. You don't want to live in a world where the bad guys aren't in control, because the bad guys let you do what you want to do so long as you let the bad guys do what they want to do. Guess what you are? A bad guy. It's exactly what you are. If you're one of those people that don't want Israel to not be in power, even though they're murdering children by the second, you need to understand that you are a bad guy. When you lay your head down, do understand that you are a villain. Do not be confused by this fact. If children need to suffer or be eradicated from the earth so that you can keep your wealth, you are in fact a bad guy. Okay? So no one's confused by this. I don't care how kind you are. I don't care how much money you've donated to this charity. I don't care if you have a job that has it so that you're saving lives. If in order for you to live your life, you need to be fine with children being murdered on the other side of the world, you are in fact a bad guy. Innocent people need to die so that the structure of what it is that you do stays intact. You're a bad guy. Period. End of story. And anything that is human, if you can have a child with it so that people are disarmed from calling other people animal people, if your daughter can have a child with their son, they are human. I hate to break it to you, but if something's an animal, we can't procreate with it. So that you're disarmed to this notion that you can call other people not human, and then therefore under the guise of not calling them human, you can continue to allow their children to suffer because you don't mind letting their children suffer because they're not human. If that's what it is, understand that that is not real. That's not real. What is real is Israel, US, and UK being in cahoots with one another's governments in such a way that allows for the only way that their structure can maintain is if they continue to allow Israel to kill children. It's the only way. That's obvious. And how they're posturing. And the only way for everything to be as comfortable as it is in all three of these places is if you allow Netanyahu to engage on his unholy war against Palestinian babies. Babies. Fetuses. All you pro-life people. Remember, they're human. Just because you don't define them as human, if your daughter can procreate with their son, they're human. I know you don't want to hear this, but it's true. They're human. And under the understanding that they are human, eradicating their youth is wrong. As in, shouldn't be done, as in, if this is what is required in order for what it is that you do to keep going, then what it is that you do needs not keep going. That's what that means. You got to disarm people from this craziness that they engage in, because there's a lot of psychopathic behavior going on at the top there. Some of our politicians, some of our platform controllers, a lot of our intelligence people, it's selective humanity. They don't really care too much for anything other than what it is they choose to define to be the case. So people like me are evil in their eyes. They define me as a terrorist, as a treasonous monster, as somebody who's going to be anti-Semitic and various different things. That is how they define me. And as they get to control the narrative of defining such things, they then get to control the narrative of what it is that I oppose, which is the killing of babies and slaughtering of innocent people and things of that nature. They get to call that a necessary decision to make for the upholding of American values, upholding of national security and all these different things in their own definition, because they define and then follow that definition and will it so amongst all of us. As we sit here and say, no, it's not, they just say, yes, it is, you're a bunch of trolls. So I can sit here with my beige jacket on and say it's blue. That's what they do. And as you say, no, it's beige, I'm saying, no, it's blue. And as you consider to get frustrated with the fact that I'm clearly wearing a beige jacket telling you it's blue, I sit here and say, I don't adhere to trolls. I know what I'm wearing, and it's blue. And then I look at the people who I employ to agree with me, and they say, of course it's blue. You see what I'm saying? That's what they do. This is how they operate. This is how they've operated for years. They did this with black people for 100 years. Hundreds of years. And we sitting up here saying we're not terrorists. Black Panthers are not terrorists. Malcolm X ain't a terrorist. Well, yes, you are. No, CIA was terrorists, fam. Still are. Because they selectively choose what it is that they say is truth. And then from there, with the lies that they agree upon, they just posture it as if it is the truth. And that's it. And all of us are supposed to just capitulate to that because they're in charge. And it's like, nah, buddy, I'm not doing any of that. You're wearing a blue jacket. You telling me I'm crazy for pointing that out. Or a beige jacket, brother. Me telling you you're wearing a beige jacket while you posturing as if you're wearing a blue one. And then telling me I'm crazy for pointing out the fact that jacket is a different color than what you say it is, does not make it any less of the color that I'm saying it is. No less. And maybe you do some mental acrobats and say, well, that's just your perspective. Your perspective says that it's beige. My perspective says that it's blue. And so we just agree to disagree. No, we don't disagree. You are posturing in the name of lies. And I am pointing that out. This isn't a disagreement. This is you lying. And that's how they act, man. That's how Zionist white supremacy cabal act. That's their way of maintaining their stances politically, and then they gaslight the hell out of you and pick something else and then copy and paste the very thing that you're saying about what it is you're focused on to something else. Oh, we must stand with Ukraine because being selective in humanity isn't fair and all Ukrainian kids deserve to survive. Yeah, but while you're killing Palestinians. Oh no, it's not Palestinians. They're not Palestinians. They're Hamas. Hamas is hiding. Hamas is not hiding. You are killing everything Palestinian. That's it. No, my jacket's blue. No, your jacket's beige. So that's really what it is, man. We need to teach our kids to point out beige jackets when they see them. And don't let people who want to posture in the name of lies and define what it is that they do in the opposite of what it is, and then hold everybody else who's holding them accountable for doing so. We need to stop holding these people up to such a high standard as to capitulate to anything they tell us. Question everything they tell you and then don't do it. If they tell you somebody's a friend, wonder about that. Because they're liars. And their hypocrisy has now been shown to us in this very act. If it was ever just hearsay that they were liars, we don't have the ability to say that anymore because now it's in our faces with this here genocide. As I told the VP this morning on her post, and you know that 2 scrolls up, I can see an unalived baby, right? While you sitting up here selective humanity pushing and all this nonsense, I don't have to go very far to see what it is that you're saying be debunked. 2 scrolls up, dead child, killed by American bombs by way of American friends. We must support Ukraine. I mean, I don't have a problem with supporting Ukraine if their kids are being genocide against. Yeah, no, let's stop that. Definitely stop that. But don't tell me that I must support Ukraine when Ukraine ain't got no problems at all. And I look over at Palestine and see them going through hell. No, I'm not interested in Ukraine right now. Point out when Ukraine is actually going through some real stuff, not when you just want to posture gaslighting us posture against what it is we're talking about and want to prop them up as a means of whatever it is that you're trying to do politically. It makes me look at Ukraine and wonder if they're not actually just more of the same of what you are. For all I know, I need to start going along with who's going against you, going against Ukraine. You know what I'm saying? That's what that makes me wonder. Like, yo, should I even be friends with these people? Because if this is what they're doing, if this is who's behind them, and this is what it is, then obviously they're probably the bad guys too. It makes you wonder who our friends really are. They tell you Russians not the good guys. Okay, well, but you're not the good guys. So why am I listening to anything you tell me? You know what I'm saying? And it gets fuzzy. You don't know who the good guys are. When in reality, it's probably not too many good guys. Not too many. That's why you have to be the good you want to see in the world and teach your kids, teach your children not to be small in nature in regards to their energy and what they use to control the world. If they take over these seats, don't be small. Don't be small, because that's what ultimately makes it so that there are no good guys. Small energy. People running the world with their insecurities on the forefront of what it is that ultimately powers it. That's it. That's where my head goes, man. I hope people are having a great day wherever you are, but I know that doesn't necessarily trickle down to everybody having a good day, because there are a lot of people who don't get to have a good day because of what it is we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? They don't get to have a good day. These people are imposing themselves against them having a good day. This conglomerate of selective humanity pushers who want to tell you they're wearing blue jackets have made damn sure these people cannot have a good day, and will do everything they can to make it so that people like me, who will want them to have a good day, are silent and trying to sway the day back to being good for them. Dare I not point out the fact that this is absolutely and utterly wrong? Because I'm against my own country, I guess. It just becomes a question for those of us who really want to be quote unquote good people. At what point in time do you start asking yourself, when does this come to its worst? And if not for everything that you're building right now being in the balance, all the different things that you're trying to put together being in the balance of whether or not people like myself are successful in pointing out that jacket is beige. At some point in time, you need to be concerned about that. Because if we convince enough people that jacket is in fact beige, you're going to have to explain to everybody why you're acting as if you don't hear us saying it's beige. Eventually, the charade is going to have to be accounted for. And the only thing these people are going to say, I'll tell you what they're going to say, is that if we didn't act like the jacket was blue, then everything that we have under our control goes kablooey. And what I'm telling you is it's already kablooey, fam. It's already blown up. You're just prolonging the inevitable, making it worse. Making it so that there's absolutely no way for it to not go at its absolute worst version of itself when it's demolished. It don't have to be as bad as it's going to be. If you start acting as if you understand that you can no longer act as if it's fine to behave this way. You may lose a lot, but you don't have to lose every damn thing. You keep on with this charade, and more people are going to start becoming passionate about proving that you guys are acting as if your jacket isn't beige. More and more people are going to start looking around and saying, how do I get these individuals who want to live in lies out? And then it becomes a problem for your kids. It starts becoming a problem for your family. It starts becoming a problem for your comfort. You got to start doing stuff that you don't want to do to maneuver around the world. This is the problem that Israel is going to be running into from here on out. Now, anybody that wears that Israel flag going to have to understand, nobody is going to want you on their land. All over the world, in the places you like to go, IDF is now weaponized the evil that they're engaging in against you. While you're saying, yeah, it's fine. No, it's not. You are in a space where the propaganda you agree upon makes it so that everybody around you acts as if this is fine. This ain't fine nowhere else in the world. And when you start going around the world, you're going to find out just how dangerous it is for you. And at that point, you're going to realize that your government, in helping you think that this was fine and telling you the propaganda lies that were attached to the Hamas narrative, you're going to find out that that was not for your betterment in any way. That your country was in fact terrorizing the Palestinian people in a million different ways for 75 years, and that this was in fact bad for business, that this was not in fact for your betterment of your safety, that you were not in fact under attack, more so the attackers, that you having America behind you did not mean that you actually had America behind you, because there was many Americans who didn't even know what you were doing no different than you didn't. And once they get a whiff of it, you're going to find out how much humanity was here. People like myself who hate this energy that you engage in, who know better than to behave as if his jacket is blue. And you're gonna find out you ain't safe pretty much anywhere. Like anywhere, man. No different than a Nazi. Ain't safe nowhere. If you as tough as you think you are, you're going to have to be tough all day, every day for the rest of your lives. Your kids going to have to be tough too. Their kids going to have to be tough too. It's like, nah. That's not what you're signing up for. Just because your propaganda is lying to you and it's convinced you that these lies are true does not mean that it ain't going to have reverberating negative effects upon you. You got to break the chain, friends. It's never okay to kill anybody's children. It's never okay to starve people out. Even if they're your enemies, if you control their food, how can you convince yourself they are actually threats to you if you control their food? Ask yourself that. You control their land, you control their power, you control their water, you control their food. How are they a threat to you? These are the hard questions you gotta ask yourself. It'll be the difference between you guys being able to survive in the world and not going forward. I tell you the truth, you had better revolt against that crap that your country is doing. No matter how many people agree to it, who care nothing about the people there, only about keeping their own thing going, their own wealth, their own agreements amongst the people that agree with them and all this stuff that postures a certain way so that nobody will stand up for what's right. That's the only thing they care about. They don't care about the people. It's the people that have to suffer that. They're going to go into their little bunkers and all this other stuff and let people like myself who get fed up raid you guys and all types of different stuff to try to keep this from happening, while they sit back somewhere comfortable, far away from where it is. It's the people that need to say, not in our name. Just like the Jewish people are doing. You got to. Because at the end of the day, people are pretending to be you, doing the worst things in the world, and going to scurry away when it all reaches its peak and leave you on the front lines to deal with the repercussions of their behavior. That's what happens there. That's what happens there. So while a lot of y'all still think that it's fine to do this, or are too afraid to change, or whatever the case may be, got laws against you speaking out, believe me, the consequences are not worse. So much worse for your children. So much worse. While y'all think you're trying to keep yourself safe, these people are putting on your hat and doing the worst things on the planet. Some of the worst things we've ever seen. Who you think they're going to blame? The world is going to blame. Who you think the blame falls upon? For the worst atrocities in the world being done in your name. They say they want to protect you. You better start asking harder questions. Like, how is that going to protect me? When the whole world is boycotting against me. They're boycotting you in day 130. What do you think they're going to be on day 1,000? Questions I need all of y'all to ask. You got to ask these questions. Because if you refuse to ask these questions, you're going to find out the answers to those questions. And you're not going to like the answers to those questions. And so that's what I'm telling you, man. Selective humanity is bad for the people engaging in it. It's bad for the peoples who are underneath the governments who engage in it. It's bad for y'all. Especially now that we've seen this in our phones. It'll never be the same for y'all. It's not going to be what it was for your forefathers when there was no internet. It's not the same world. It ain't going to go the same way. You know, as I say, like, some of these soldiers that are doing these horrible things and want to show themselves recording and all that, y'all gotta go places after this. People are gonna see you 25 years after this, and they're gonna be attacking y'all as old men. They ain't gonna forget. Nobody's gonna forget. They're gonna dox you. They're gonna make sure that your kids have to suffer the repercussions of what you do. While y'all don't mind having your faces shown doing all of this evil, you got to understand that the world sees what you're doing as evil, not as you upholding your health and your truth. And all you're going to say is you didn't know, and all people are going to say is no, we don't believe you. Doesn't work. I didn't know, we were brainwashed. We don't care to believe that. People are going to be too hurt and too traumatized to believe that. Even if it's true. We were brainwashed. We didn't have no choice. They did a number on us. We're going to do a number on you. Because you did this. Like, that's how that's going to go. That's exactly how that's going to go. And some of y'all soldiers, IDF soldiers, some of y'all engaging in all this, some of you politicians, 2024, everything's fine. Fast forward, some of y'all going to die some horrible deaths because of this. I'm just telling the truth. Never mind what happens to me for pointing it out. That's a whole nother story. But some of y'all gonna die in jail. Some of y'all gonna die even worse than that. I'm just being honest. This ain't gonna go the way you think it's gonna go. BDF 44. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.